folks, I want you to begin. See, I really believe in managing by instincts. Okay, that's the reason I think experience is the greatest teacher in the world. Great leaders do things instinctively, okay? If you have to sit down and go think something out and write it out and look at the alternatives and do a Benjamin Franklin close, put all the positives and all the negatives, you know, and make a decision, you already got a 5-yard penalty, okay, for delay a game, right? You missed the whole dadgum boat. You've got to call a shot. You just instinctively know, dadgummit, that's the thing to do, right? Well, in management, what you've got to be aware of, your experience tells you some things, some danger areas, and it's not something you dwell on. This thing that I'm talking to you about, I don't spend 30 seconds a day worrying about, okay? Because you can't win in this business unless you're positive, unless you're powerful. You can't recruit people and motivate people if they're suspicious and they're worried about making mistakes and concerned. That can't become a dominant thing in your organization, right? But you better flat understand the danger things that can destroy your business, right? And you better make sure you prepare for that. Okay? You don't spend any time worrying about it. You don't talk to your people about it a bunch, okay? Let me give you some of these things. These are danger areas. Number one, leaders not trained properly. Folks, dadgummit, I had a letter from one of you that said, Art, I don't like the idea. She was from Michigan, and Jerry Bauer, one of our great organizations, said, you know, they talk about having to hire 100 people to get one. Well, that's not, he said, I don't like that. Well, I don't like that either. I mean, that's not the way it's supposed to be intended. To become an RVP, you should think about hiring 75 people. That's just a guideline. That's just a guess. Normally, it takes you 75 to 100 people to identify that one leader that has this organization under him of a number of people, right? That don't mean only 1 out of 100 is going to be successful. If you're a good manager, I said yesterday, every single individual in A.L.Williams should be successful. Nobody should ever leave A.L.Williams unhappy or disappointed. If you've been honest with these people, if you're hiring the right kind of people that have the right kind of natural market, if they just go with you and you make 3 or 4 or 5 field training sales with them and they decide to quit, then they ought to be the happiest people in the world. That's probably the best investment they have made to that point in their entire life, right? So when you say to go out and hire 75 to 100 people to get one stud, that ain't what we mean, or that ain't what you ought to mean, okay? I believe in looking at everybody as a stud. Everybody I work with, I look at as an RVP. I expect everybody to succeed. Now that don't mean everybody's going to go full time. That don't mean everybody's going to become an RVP. To have a championship team, everybody's got to. I want A.L.Williams to make your family, to be a meaningful part of your family. I don't give a flying stink that you become an RVP like Randy Godfrey and produce $100,000 worth of business a month. That might not be your role. You might be in A.L.Williams to make an extra $100 a month. And if you do that, then you're happy and you feel like A.L.Williams is a great part of your life. You're just as important to A.L.Williams as Hubert Humphrey is or Ronnie Barnes. That makes sense? I believe in running a company where you've got open lines of communication. You don't have to bow down to Art Williams. I don't want you to put me on a dadgum pedestal. I'm part of the team. And I'm going to do my job. And you're going to be proud of me because I guarantee ain't nobody in this company going to outwork me and give it more than I'm going to give it. And dadgum, but I mean, I'm only one part of this team, okay? I want you to call me Art, and I want you to feel like I'm a dadgum teammate, you know. And ain't nobody too good for nobody. And if you want to criticize, like some, you know, the lady that called me this morning said, I'm offended when you say stuff. I didn't take that wrong. That's not. I mean, I can understand why she's offended a little bit, okay? But dadgummit, then I'm going to explain my side to you, you know. And if you can't, if after I explain why you stood, if that still offends you a little bit, then I would think you got the problem and not me got the problem, right? I mean, that's the way I feel about it. Now, if that continues to be a problem, I might change that down the road. I was in, you know, my asshole thing. I mean, I just described so many people so great, you know. But I had a couple of 3 or 4 weeks ago, somebody says, Art, that offends me. And I said, well, I understand why that offends you. He says, why don't you use air hole, you know? And I tried that. I tried air hole during this part, you know, at one of the meetings, you know, but it just didn't come out as powerful, you know? And so, new recruits not receiving enough training and motivation. A.L.Williams has a policy that every new recruit must have a minimum of 3 field training sales before he can go out and make a sale on his own. That's critical. That's absolutely mandatory. Our whole financial structure is based on that. Okay? So many things I'd love to tell you, but I don't have time about some of those kind of things. We'll get to it a little bit later. When you understand the financial structure of our company, it's absolutely incredible. Just one brief example. We've been keeping statistics, and if you look at people that are full-time at A.L.Williams, the RVP full-time management level, okay, over the last 3 years, 90+% of those people are still with us. You look at our competition now, and their salespeople over a 3-year period of time, 90+% of their people are gone. Now, if you look at our situation too, you hire people part-time that never really want to get big in management. 90% of them are not going to be here, 3 or 4 years from now. Okay? But see, one of the real keys to A.L.Williams is most of the sales are made with the manager there making the sale. The new recruit is going along to get the prospect for you and give you credibility, right? And so really that's that manager's client, and the odds are that person's going to be here to service that. But it's just a little old something that we've done that people don't understand out there, okay? And we don't want them to understand it, okay? Because that's something unique to us. But make sure that every new recruit receives at least 3 field trainings. I had one question yesterday. He said, Art, if you go on 6 field training sales, anytime you go on a field training sale with a manager, that should be a split commission. A field training sale if the manager makes the sale. Said if you do 5 or 6 sales, does that mean the guidelines say they've got to do 3 field training sales and 3 personal sales? Absolutely not, If you make 4 field training sales with that guy, that counts as 4 sales with him, okay? So he's only got to make 2 more sales. If you make 6 sales with him in field training, then once he recruits 3 people, then you promote him to sales leader, right? Always, you don't ever do anything that your people could interpret as making you money and causing them money, okay? You look for ways to promote them, okay? I have people that they write 10 sales in their district last month, and they lose 7 of them. And they don't see anything wrong with that. They go write another 10 this month and lose 7. There's a bunch wrong with that. If you're selling the right market and you're selling the product right, you're not going to have anything but an occasional not taken policy. Now, you're going to have about 10% not taken. 1 out of every 10, the old lady's going to get back and wipe you out, or they're going to change their mind, or they're not going to qualify, okay? But if you're having 50% of your business not taken, or something like that, you got a problem, okay? You got a problem in some area there. Somebody's shortcutting the thing. Somebody's selling on the first interview, or they're not selling the right amount of insurance, or they're not preparing for the old enemy agent. Something's wrong. Understand that, and don't ignore that. Get those people in and work with them. Find out what the problem is. It says, and no person, you or any RVP, ever makes a penny off anything other than overrides or commission. That's the way. And let me just give you an example. I wrote Common Sense last year, and that was something that was very emotional to me because I won't go through it with you, but it was almost, I just felt like 14 years of my life, I just put that thing on paper, and it was a big thing for this company. It made you a lot of money, it made a lot of sales, it saved a lot of business. And, we sell that thing for 36 cents right now, and we sell that for exactly to the penny what it cost us to print that and handle that. We sold over 3 million of that the first year. In fact, we maybe even approached 4 million. But we sell, and just say 3 million of that, and if we sold that for 46 cents instead of 36 cents, you know how many we'd sell? Exactly the same amount. And if I just made a dime on that book, that would be $300,000 or $400,000 that I would have made this past year. And you know what? I would have earned that. You could not begrudge me of making that because I made you a bunch of money by writing that thing, right? But see, that's not right. We're not going to do that at A.L.Williams. Now, my reason for telling you this is, folks, I've built my business career believing that your reputation is anything. And I believe that you tell people the way you're going to build your business, the way you're going to make your money, and dadgummit, you go out there and build your fortune right. You don't go try to nickel and dime people to death and sell them pens and paper and clipboards and crap like that, trying to make, and go have a fast start school and charge people $5, and if your bills are $200 and you make $500, that you go pocket $300. Most companies in America operate that way, but we ain't. I mean, ain't no way. Do you think I'm going to allow somebody to make an extra $50 a month or $100 a month taking advantage of their people when I've given up some of the kinds of money I could have made that way? We're not going to do that. I take a lot of pride in those kind of things. Young single men and women, if you've got a lot of sales by those, you be very careful. More than one application per family. A.L.Williams will not allow you to sell but one application per family. You are screwing. And I understand insurance guys say, all right, I don't give a flying crap about doing what's right for the customer. You know, if I go out there and sell a base on the first insured and a base on the second insured, I make more money, right? Right. But you ain't going to be in this company doing it, because by God, we're going to do what's right for the dadgum consumer, okay? And we... And let me tell you this. We ain't even got, you know, and if you do, we have proven at A.L.Williams, if you do what's right, you wind up making more money too. There ain't a company in this industry that even comes close to making the kind of money our top people are making, okay? This guy talked about yesterday, he was paid $800,000 a few years ago. You know, we found out he was running opportunity meetings. He had his people just dragging people off the street to opportunity meetings, and they'd get it, and he was a powerful motivator. He'd get up there and rah-rah and motivate them, and then he would pass out applications. They would fill out their own application, brand new people off the street. Then he had little closing offices. He would take his managers and move to a closing office. He'd divide them up in groups of 5s or 10s and take them in there and say, I could not, shocked, totally devastated, you know. Of course, he got a bunch of advances, made a lot of money, but it all comes off the book, okay? And we won a suit against him of some $400,000. We got a sheriff chasing him out there right now. No A.L.Williams person can add any additional requirements for you to get promoted. Now, and then some people come out and say, well, Art, I know some organizations say that you've got to do $10,000 in premium or something like that, you know, to be promoted to RVP. I will allow somebody to add other requirements if they're less than what these say, okay? So if they give you 2 ways to be promoted to RVP or to a division, and that second way is less than the first way, okay, I have no problem with that. As long as you're doing what's better for people, I don't care about that, okay? But if you add something in addition to what these guidelines say, I'll terminate you. We had an RVP in California right now, two of them in California. Went out and hired an insurance guy. Said, Art, this guy's a heavyweight. He's fantastic. I said, be careful. He said, you don't have to worry about this guy. This guy went out and wrote a lot of business, rolled it over, has a $69,000 debit balance on that one guy. $69,000. And folks, when you ever blow it, it's twice as hard to do it the second time. It can be done, but it's twice as hard to do it the second time. So I don't mean do it slow. I want you to do it big. I want you to do it fast. I want you to do it magnificent, okay? But Dad, take time to know that you're doing it right. Be aware of what's going on. Don't do something that would prostitute your business and cause you to devastate things to where, you know, this particular RVP, it's going to take him a year to 18 months just to pay off that debit balance to where he can get back to ground zero. These times are too precious. You know, it looks like the family is under attack today. You know, last year I think almost 50% of the families marriages ended up in divorce last year. Now, you just feel sad. You go in there and you see many times a female head of the household, you know, with 2 or 3 children, scrambling, can't hardly pay their bills. You feel so sorry for them, you don't know what to do, you know. But, you know, you don't know what to do. And I mean, it's a heck of a thing to talk about. You know, I don't know what to do, but all I know is normally they can't afford to pay for insurance, you know, and they can't afford normally to come to work. They just caught in a crack. It's just one of the saddest things in this country right now, okay? People that have to go to work at A.L.Williams full time to make a sale to put food on the table, that normally don't work, you know. There'll be exceptions to that. And so I hate it. Tell them to go get a job and let this be a part-time supplement thing, okay? I'm real big trying to do things that teach your people how to win, okay? And as I said yesterday, I believe in managing the exception, but folks, the exception cannot become the rule or you'll get killed, okay? And when you're licensing people, you've got to license people that are in the A.L.Williams profile. 25 years old and up, married, got kids, got homes, got jobs, buying insurance, saving money, okay? That's middle America out there. Those are the kind of people that you better be recruiting. You can't have a big percentage of unemployed people, single parents, young single men and women. You can't have a big percentage of that, okay? If you do, your organization is going to be devastated. Your quality of business is going to be poor, your chargebacks are going to be high, and your turnover ratio is going to be high. You know, I really believe this, folks. If you shortcut the system and you go in there and make sales on the first interview, you're going to wind up spending more time with that client, conserving that business, than if you go in there and go through the three-step sales process. You can't shortcut our system and get away with it. Is that a deal? Listen, that pained me, okay? But part of you becoming an executive and a leader is you've got to run a business, okay? And your business has to be run like a business, okay?